Dreams do come true. Right.
Dreams can come true.
Look you, baby, I'm with you. Right, George. Wasn't it funny that she always wore an eye patch? Was there actually? Did she have an issue with her eye, or was that a style thing?
I don't know who that was.
Gabrielle.
Lovely
lady, beautiful voice, dulcet,
Dreams
smooth.
can come true. Was it a lovely voice?
Lovely voice. Right. Well, you sang that. Even better. Dear George and Luke.
Hello, dear.
At the age of 32, I've only ever had 2 orgasms.
Is it a man or a woman?
It's got to be a woman. A woman.
Of course it's a woman. Because a man's he'd be like, I only had 2 orgasms yesterday. And normally I have at least 3. Something's gone wrong.
Something's not happening. So, she's only ever had 2 orgasms, once during foreplay and once with penetrative sex. All right?
Then you find out she's only done each of those once.
I still fancy my boyfriend, who is 34.
Oh, God, this is a horrible slight on the boyfriend, isn't it? To say it like that, yeah. I still fancy my boyfriend, but he's the one who ain't able to give me nothing. However, when I look at that poster of Ryan Gosling on the wall, I'm all a quiver.
He's attentive, and we have a great relationship. He's very attentive, George, very attentive.
It's good to be a bit attentive.
It is good to be attentive now and again. He knows I rarely climax.
He's in a tent. He's in a tent. I'm in the bed.
That's the problem. You're in the wrong place, right? Yeah. He knows I
rarely
climax.
Get him out of the tent, right?
And I know he feels guilty for not being able to make it happen for me. I tried to reassure him.
I don't think it's guilt he feels. He probably feels quite insecure and upset in his own ways and emasculated, but it's probably not guilt. No. You know what I mean? You're not like, I feel so. Is it? I feel so bad. It's not like he bloody ran someone over with his car and drove away. That would make you feel guilt. This is just like, what is it? Am I not good enough? Is it her? Is it me? You know, don't make it feel even worse. Adding guilt on top of the emasculation.
So I tried to reassure him I don't need to orgasm to enjoy being intimate. Shit, that's gonna sting. Telling him that.
Well, some women can't orgasm, and that
while I don't blame him, I do feel I'm missing out. Can you help, George and Luke? P.S. Love the show. I've tried to orgasm even by watching this show. But yeah.
I orgasm all the time whilst watching you, but I can't seem to do it with my boyfriend. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a little difficult. I mean, I can't exactly say to you, well, try another man, see if it works. Which is actually my initial impulse. Like, maybe it is you're just not turned on by him. I mean, I could say that you can divulge to him exactly what turns you on. You've got to have a fantasy, right? You've got to be able to think of certain things that are electric to you, certain words. What do you want him to call you? What do you want him to whisper in your ear? Just do you want to experiment? Like, granted, some women are like, I want him to reveal myself to me. I want him to take me to a land of stimulation that I didn't know exists. Right? All of that's fair enough, but you can still give him a bit of a kickstart. Sure. And be like, all right, well, let him try this. And if you free him up to say and do certain things, then once he realizes it's kind of working, he'll feel more comfortable to kind of try even more. Okay? You can even like the 50 Shades of Grey thing, that old book, has such that they use like a word. They have a like if I say this, you have to stop. It's that kind of thing. Right. Like until I say that, you can say and try anything that you want.
Well, I don't think stopping is the problem, George. I think it's
no, I know, but the thing is she's not explaining what their bedroom acrobatics actually are. Maybe it's literally like, he climbs on me, missionary position, doesn't say anything, doesn't look me in the eyes, barely touches me, puts his hand on either side of me so that, he's touching the pillow and the mattress.
Sounds wonderful, George.
And he's
he's
done like a jackrabbit in 45 seconds. Like, I don't know what the situation is. So maybe he's not touching her enough. Maybe it's too quick. Maybe whatever. Maybe
I reckon he's great.
Yeah, I think
he's probably great.
You might be right. But unfortunately, we don't have all those delicious details.
No.
So if
send us the delicious details, love. Send it all in.
Send us video footage,
evidence,
right? And then we can analyze the video footage and we'll tell you what's going wrong. But the other thing is if your fantasies you can't relate to him, or it's not that, and he might be a fucking stallion, right? We might look at him and go, right, we know what the problem is. It's you. But if he isn't doing it for whatever reason, then you can go to a doctor and just ask. Now, I'll be a little cautious about this, because there is such a thing where sometimes a doctor will be like, well, it's probably this. And you could get like a diagnosis when actually there's nothing wrong with you, and there is some bloke out there who'll give you fantastic orgasm. But there is a rare circumstance where women, for whatever reason, can't orgasm. So you can go to a doctor and find out. There is another thing, which is you could have some kind of childhood trauma or something that goes way back, something that's preventing you. Like, for example, if there's a certain degree of fear attached to the act of, doing the deed.
the birds and the bees.
You can. Well, a woman, men too, but a woman has to feel safe,
of course,
in that space, because she's very vulnerable
Extremely.
at that point. So something could be happening in your head, which is, I don't feel like I'm in a safe and secure place, so I won't just let myself go. I can't let myself go, because those few seconds I'm completely kind of exposed, and something in your head might be telling you don't reach that point. Always be aware so that you can be okay. So still sniffling.
I am sniffling a little bit there, George. I'm so upset at this situation. That's what it is.
Fumes are coming out. But it could. So look back into that and think: is there anything in there that's bothering me? And I would suggest maybe an unusual line of advice, but this really does work. It's known to work in countless cases. Is write about it. So think to yourself, is there something in my childhood, something early on, did some boy do something that frightened me or something? And write the whole experience down. Don't write it for anybody else to read. You can write it by hand. You can throw it away when you're done if you want. Okay, if it feels too much like somebody else could look at it and you don't want them to see your secrets and things. But write the whole experience down and get it out of yourself, because what happens oftentimes is if a bad thing has happened to you, your brain starts trying to solve the problem and going like, imagine it a bit like a breakup. Like when two people break up, your brain starts going, why did that happen? What did I do wrong? Oh my God, how do I make sure that doesn't happen again? And you might find that part of your thoughts are attached to a negative experience that happened to you years and years ago, and your thoughts are still going like this. What did that happen? How do I prevent that happening? But if you write it all out, these very scattered thoughts become linear, and you give them direction. And then you've also, you'll see certain things that you'd be like, oh, of course. And oftentimes you'll be like, oh, that wasn't my fault. And it wasn't this, and it wasn't that. It wasn't all these additional sort of things I'm adding to the problem I'm creating in my own head. And then one other thing that makes it very, very effective is essentially it's like, think of it almost like cleaning a room. And it's like there's a mess in the room, and then if you can just pick up the mess and take it outside and throw it away, then you're like, okay, good, mess is done. Now I can sort of tidy and make it nice again. So when you write your problems out, it's kind of like that. It's like, oh, the mess that's in here is now here. It's come out, and I'm looking at it, and therefore it's outside of myself. I've literally removed the mess, and then you can take it, you throw it away. And that might sound crazy to someone who hasn't tried it, but therapists have done that with countless people, and oftentimes they say, write the problem. And people sometimes write 5, 10, 15, or even 20 plus thousand words that just fly out of them because they've had these things going around their head for years and years and years. And often once they've done that sort of internal cleaning, obstacles like this feel, oh, the boulder has been removed. Now I can carry on in the journey and have a fantastic orgasm with my eyes rolling back in my head. But I'll just say one last thing, and then you would say, if you've got a lovely, loving relationship with your boyfriend, and it is actually really nice, and he does care for you, and you care for each other, and there's a lot of warmth and closeness there, then I'd say
he's very attentive, George. Did I mention he's attentive?
The orgasm is not like it's not the end of the world. Like it'd be a nice thing, but to be honest, there are plenty of like women who go out and have an orgasm with some person once in a while, or they have a boyfriend who they're attached to him, but he causes her all kinds of emotional problems. And it's like many would trade. Many people would be like, you are having sex with him, and you're close and you love each other, and many people would say that's a win. Don't put too much emphasis on it, because it still sounds like you're in a very, very good position, and you're very lucky to be in a loving relationship where you both love and care about each other and you're happy with each other. This thing is like it's not worth sacrificing a loving relationship just for like the occasional orgasm. Okay, somebody who's say single and sleeps with occasional strangers might be like, I had a great night, but now I'm lonely for 7 days. Okay, I had a great night on Friday, but now I'm lonely for 2 weeks until I meet somebody else.
Monday, on Tuesday,
yeah, all that. Man, I met a girl on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and Saturday. She called and complained on Sunday. But the where have you been on Sunday?
Can I just say, George, also on this, I had a few points. I've lost most of them, but listen, when it comes
this is why
to,
I need to write them down, Luke. All those thoughts that you had, write them down.
Well, it's true though. It's true. I do really like that advice, because
I go back through what I said? Maybe it'll trigger.
No, it's fine. All I was going to say was I've found that when I've been in a situation whereby I've put it down on paper, or even just written it out, either on my phone, even just put it out, got it out of my head, known that it's somewhere out there and it's put there. It's freed me up. It's like I've freed some space within myself for me to then relax and do whatever else I need to do. And I would also just say, sometimes, and I'm not downplaying your problem, because it obviously, it's a problem, but I would say this: sometimes, if it isn't an actual physical issue that you have, often it builds in your head. So if you haven't orgasmed and then you start to make a big deal about it, and you start to make a big deal about it, it becomes this avalanche of an issue, and it becomes this giant problem. And then every time you're having sex, it's in the back of your head. Oh God, I'm not going to orgasm. Oh God, I need to orgasm. Oh God. And then it creates this pressure. And that's the opposite of an environment in which you're going to orgasm. Because the whole point of orgasm, for me at least, is vulnerability, is relaxation, is love, is connection, is connecting two beings, being as one, and feeling open enough and free enough to be fully relaxed, right?
Yeah, but maybe if a boyfriend said all of that to her, Luke. Problem is, yeah, mate, Luke, he'll give you an orgasm instantly. You won't even have to touch him. You'll just be in the same room as him, and you'll just be like,
do you know what I mean, though, George? You want to create that space, that sacred space, where you can just completely allow yourself to just flow in and out of each other, where you just become one ocean of love, light, and truth.
I don't know if you wanted to flow in and out of you, Luke. He's supposed to flow in and out of you. All right, so one other bit of advice.
Go on, George.
Which is, everything he says is true, but whilst it's in my head, I've got to say it.
Say it.
So, lastly, because of what you said about that thing, what you said, look, you could orgasm by yourself.
Well, this is it.
So, if it's like, if you're like, you've been in a long relationship, maybe you're one of those girls who's like, oh, I met him when I was young and we learned our bodies together and then maybe you're not someone who fiddles around with yourself by yourself. But go to some place where you do feel completely secure, right? Book like bed and breakfast, right? Something like that. Go to an Airbnb.
Sounds lovely.
Right?
What, in Margate, George?
Go someplace by yourself.
Being by the sea by yourself, or
and be like, here I am in this room and everything's safe and there's nice outside and I can hear the seagulls or something like that, right? And just get away in a place where you're completely alone, and have a bit of an expression, right? Here's your magic wand, right? And see what your magic wand can do, because if you can bring yourself to orgasm, then you're fine, and you might just feel like exposed or something when you're with your partner, but definitely you haven't mentioned that, you haven't said like you can't orgasm alone. Like, I can orgasm by myself, but I can't orgasm with you.
She hasn't really gone into details with that. She's only said she's only ever had two
orgasms.
Exactly. She hasn't actually mentioned, whether she gets off.
Anyway, all of that will help you out, and it'll give you a helping hand. And if it doesn't work, Luke will give you a helping hand, and his helping hand will give you 3 orgasms in about 17 minutes.
I think that problem is well on its way to being truly...
Have a fiddle.
Solved!
Hey, you there, I've got some really exciting special news. If you're interested in all the kind of things that we talked about in that video just there, you're gonna love this. There it is, look at that. It's written by me. It's called A Cure for Loneliness, as you can see right there. And I spent about a year of my life writing it to make sure that it would be good and fun and accurate and entertaining and all those things that make something, you know, worthwhile. And I'm extremely excited to say that people have actually responded really well, and they've been reading it all over the world. I've gotten reviews from people who say that they've read it twice. Somebody actually wrote to me recently to say that he'd read it 3 times. I was flattered if anyone had read it once, but to read it 3 times. Some excerpts of things that people have written to me about it are, it's a great and fun read, not the tedious intellectual kind. For me personally, this was a reminder that reading can be an awesome pastime. A lot of books are boring as fuck, but not this one. Thanks very much. And anyway, those are only the first responses that I got. Quite recently, somebody wrote to me from China and said that he's now in a relationship with a girl he met on a train, all he says, because he read this book, and he said that it inspired him to go over to a girl that he liked on a train, yes, a public train, and start speaking to her. And now he says they are in a relationship and it is going well. So if that kind of thing interests you, or maybe you're just interested in the kind of psychology that, you know, we talk about on these videos, you're going to get a lot of it in depth, including my own experiences and how I kind of came to learn all of this stuff and reach this place myself. You're going to get all those stories within this. It's fantastic. Trust me, it's the best book you're ever going to read in your entire life. I wouldn't put a year of my life into writing something worthless, would I? So, you know, jump in, have fun. You can find it on amazon.com.co.uk, any Amazon, even the Amazon jungle. It's only about $10, I think it's $8.99, something like that, with free shipping. So crack on, have some fun, and, you know, let me know what you think. Till next time, bye.